News. I wanted to share this social media post from Fox News stating that a U.S. fighter jet shoots down unmanned Iranian drone that was approaching USS Abraham Lincoln in Arabian Sea, U.S. Central Command spokesman says. So that is the breaking news that we are following at this hour. And I wanted to share just a little bit more information as we are learning new details. The U.S. Central Command says a U.S. Navy fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone that was approaching the aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea. This is a post by the Associated Press sharing that information, saying that there was unclear intent. Now, in an emailed statement Tuesday, U.S. Central Command said the drone, quote, aggressively approached the aircraft carrier with unclear intent, and it continued to fly toward the ship despite de-escalatory measures taken by U.S. forces operating in international waters. The U.S. military says the shootdown also occurred within hours of another incident in which Iranian forces harassed a U.S. flagged and U.S. crewed merchant vessel that was sailing in that area.
So, breaking news that just came out. U.S. military, they shot down an unmanned Iranian drone, as they're reporting here, and apparently the drone was headed towards, um, one of our aircraft carriers, and unclear intent, as they were saying. So, anything like that, I mean, they're going to shoot that thing down and not even give it a chance to do anything that it was intended to do. Or, I mean, they could have just been doing recon. They could have been doing anything, but you know, they had to know that wasn't gonna fly. And then they were saying that it was a merchant ship that was also being harassed and stuff like that, um, out in that area. So a lot of tensions are picking up. Everybody know what's going on in Iran, and people are trying to fight for their freedoms. Um, but when the U.S. is out in that area, and you got unmanned aircraft coming towards them, unmanned drones, you gotta know it's gonna be shut down. I mean, shot down. I mean,
The Shahed 139 drone was shot down by an F-35C fighter jet from the Lincoln, which, according to U.S. Central Command, was sailing about 500 miles from Iran's southern coast. The military statement noted that no American troops were harmed and no equipment was damaged. Then, hours later, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces harassed the merchant vessel Stena Imperative. That's according to the U.S. military. And according to the military statement, two boats and an Iranian drone approached the ship, quote, at high speeds and threatened to board and seize the tanker. So we did want to share the very latest as we are continuing to follow this breaking news. U.S. Central Command says a U.S. Navy fighter jet shot down an Iranian drone that was approaching the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea. In an emailed statement, U.S. Central Command said that the drone aggressively approached the aircraft carrier with unclear intent, and it continued to fly toward the ship despite de-escalatory measures taken by U.S. forces operating in international waters. The U.S. military says the shootdown also occurred within hours of another incident in which Iranian forces harassed a U.S. flagged and U.S. crewed merchant vessel that was sailing in that area.
all this is really just going to increase tensions even more. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the spring or summer, man, there's some like actual like back and forth warfare going on. Especially when little moves like this is kind of like just kind of giving you a little jab and trying to see what you're gonna do. I mean, I mean, did they think that the United States was going to allow this drone to get close to the aircraft carrier and cause damage to the aircraft carrier or any of the planes that's on that carrier or even any of the people on that carrier? And then, you're trying to, harass U.S. merchant ships. That has the U.S. flag on the ship. None of that's gonna bode well for you. And it's just more than likely gonna end up being something. They may, let this go, but I doubt it, man. I really feel like something retaliatory is gonna happen. Uh, what? Who knows? But we may wake up in the morning with a whole new, thing of breaking news. So, and we can only go off what's being told to us because I'm sure there's no cameras out there to capture this type of stuff and all the information out there in the Arabian Sea. It just has to be sent back to us, and we just have to take it for what it is, really. But this is just some breaking news. Iran is accused of sending a drone aggressively at a U.S. aircraft carrier, and they just shot it down. Launched one of the planes, the fighter jets from the aircraft carrier, and the pilot did what he had to do. So we'll see if this escalates to anything more. Well, we are in that region for a reason, though. Definitely want to make sure that everyone is aware that we are in that region for a reason, and this is the type of stuff that antagonizes, you know, especially when there's already been said that it's just a lot has been said between the whole back and forth between Iran, Israel, and the U.S. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see what becomes of this. But I'm gonna close out. If you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.